Okay, this is probably the third time that I've tried to make this recording for you. This is in answer to some questions that came out of the Zoom meeting that we tried to have earlier. I apologize for those of you who were there that my internet was not working properly. I'm not sure actually if it was my internet or if it was Zoom itself. Any case, I had a few questions about the statement of purpose. So we're just going to talk about that very briefly. Right. So the statement of purpose, this exercise, this is the same exercise you were supposed to have done for the research paper. The reason I'm having you do it again is because anytime you go to write something, you have to know what your purpose for writing is, who your audience is, and what the context of your writing is. That's what we call the rhetorical situation. That is the foundation of all the work that we do in this class. So you have to understand these things before you can even write the article that you're asked to write. Or if it's not an article, before it was your research essay. And if we get far enough this semester to have our third project, which may or may not happen, you'll have to do this for that as well. If you see what I have here as samples, my answers are not long, detailed answers. This won't take you very long if you just sit down and do it, especially if you've already done the article work that you should have done ahead of time. Right? So if you just sit down and you do this and you think, okay, I've done my article work on my topic. I know now what I'm planning to write about because I already did my research question. And so I want to answer that question. I'm going to write an article that answers that research question. So what's my purpose for writing? We can say in one word, our purpose is to explain because it's an explainer article. But what does that really mean? What do you hope people will do or feel after they read your article? What is your motivation for writing about this particular topic that you chose? Why did you choose that topic? Is there something in particular you want to share with others or that made you want to share this topic with others? What would you imagine the best possible outcome of this article would be? What's the worst? How would this article add to the larger conversation? You've already been reading parts of the larger conversation through reading the articles that you've chosen. So how are you going to add something to this conversation with your own article? Knowing that helps you understand your purpose for writing beyond just completing an assignment. Knowing who your audience is. We talked in class about the audience being your peers, people who are in classes with you. How do you write for those people? What do they think? What do they believe? What are their attitudes, their habits? What do you know about their backgrounds and their ages that can help you write for that audience? And then the context is looking at the time period, the greater environment in which your article is going to be disseminated, is going to be shared. So thinking about those things. And once you've got answers to those questions, you want to summarize them so that you can put them together and say, this is what I understand is my purpose. This is what I understand is my audience. This is what I understand is my context. And then you're going to say, well, how do audience, purpose, and context work together? And you're going to write a sentence or two that explains that. And then you'll go through and go back through these 4 questions and be able to write your own statement of purpose. It's a brief paragraph, so it's a few sentences. It's not just one sentence, it's a few sentences. So if you look at the example that I provided, you can see how this student takes what she answers about her purpose, audience, and context and creates her 1 or 2 sentences about each one. And then she narrows that down or focuses that into one succinct sentence here. And then she goes through and answers those questions and writes her statement of purpose paragraph. this paragraph is, in a very technical sense, 2 sentences. One of those sentences is an actual compound sentence with a semicolon, so it's 3 sentences worth of material that she has in this short paragraph, right? And you can see it's all explained in here, so you can read the explanations for yourself, and then you'll be able to work on your own statement of purpose. But remember, in order to really do your statement of purpose, you need to have read those articles and done the work on the articles, and you need to have developed your own research question. So if we look back at the assignments from Monday, you can see that your assignments were developing a research question and then writing your statement of purpose. Okay, and I have another video that explains the statement of purpose, but because there were questions that came up, I wanted to specifically answer those questions again. So the work that you're doing for the statement of purpose is not going to appear in your article. It's part of helping you prepare to write your own article. You're not writing your article yet. You aren't drafting that article until, let me see here, until next week, Wednesday. You'll be drafting that article. So we've got a lot of work that we're doing before we even get to drafting your article. Don't try to rush in, okay?